Hello, my cookies. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I have a fall twist on a summer classic. So we love summer peach cake. This, I'm going to be doing a fall rustic pear cake. I love pears. Got a whole bunch of them. They're ripe. They're in season. So we got a few little tricks, a few little techniques to make sure we don't end up with a whole bunch of mushiness and to make sure that we get a lot of that pear flavor. First things first, gather our ingredients. My favorite ingredient here will be the spiced pear liqueur. You can get a schnapps or what have you. Just make sure it tastes like pear. You're also going to need 8 tablespoons of butter melted and cooled. I got a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt here. Light brown sugar, 2 eggs, lemon. I have about a 1/4 cup of crushed Panko crumbs. I rolled them in their bag with a rolling pin and really crushed them up. Got some vanilla extract, of course, my pumpkin pie spice, can't miss that. Baking powder, all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, and I have about 6 pears. Depending on the size and depending on the ripeness, you might need 7, might need 5, but I think 6 is a good number, 6 or 7 here. We're gonna trim them. I have Bartlett's. I think Bosc will hold up a little bit better to baking. However, these Bartlett's look really good. Plus, I'm going to try not peeling them. With Boscs, I think you're going to want to try and peel them. Now that we got our ingredients, let's get baking. Start with the pears. I'm going to trim off the ends. I'm going to 1/4 them, and then I'm going to slice them into wedges. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom, trim off the top. You want ripe but firm pears. If there's any bit of mushiness or whatnot, get it out of here. Get a pear that's a little bit less ripe than that. This is how I do my pears. I don't even core them until I get to this place right here. And then I just slide my knife, take it out. This is my tournée knife. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to set aside 20 to 24 wedges here. And those are gonna kind of be the top of the cake when we take it out of the pan. It's gonna look nice. The rest I'm gonna cut up, it's gonna go into the batter. So I gotta get my best wedges here. I'm going to cut these, if they're really big like this, into thirds. Otherwise, maybe just a half. You want about a half to 3/4 of an inch on the outside part of the wedge. The rest of these I will chop up. I'm going to stick with 5 pears because these are a little bit big. But if I decide that I want a little bit more, I got this one here. Cut these up. I'm going to cut them into about 1/2-inch pieces. So we have our cut up pears, and then we have our good looking pears. We got to get some lemon juice. We're going to get some pear liqueur, and we're going to get a little bit of granulated sugar. So we're going to toss these around and just let them sit. So for these good looking pears, we're going to do 1 tablespoon granulated sugar. For the lemon juice, we are going to do 2 teaspoons. And then finally, for the liqueur, we're going to be doing 2 tablespoons. Ooh, boozy pears. Love it. Oh, yeah, I can smell that. Ooh, that's good. All right, we're going to set these aside, and we're going to turn to our regular pears here. We're going to do something similar. For the granulated sugar, we're going to be doing 2 tablespoons. For the lemon juice, we will be doing 2 teaspoons. And then for the schnapps here, pear liqueur, we'll be doing 3 tablespoons. All right, toss it around. Get it nice and good and mixed. Now, in order to concentrate that pear flavor, I'm actually going to roast these. Drive out a little bit of moisture, but also cook off a little bit of that alcohol. So I'll feel okay about giving this to my kids. I have my oven, middle rack, 450 degrees. I'm going to spread this out on a parchment-lined baking sheet. You can absolutely use tin foil, but just spread it out, and you essentially want to start to see a little bit of caramelization. That might take 15 to 25 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on it because I don't want to cook them too long. I want to drive out that moisture and concentrate that flavor though. Let's start building our cake. I'm going to make the dry ingredients. I'm going to do the wet ingredients and then probably put the dry into wet. That's how I like to do it. Dry ingredients, AP flour. All right, let's start with a cup. Baking powder, let's do a heaping teaspoon here. Measure it out, maybe 1 1/4. Baking powder, not soda. 1/2 teaspoon table salt, 1 teaspoon kosher salt. Either or. All right, let's go that together. We'll set that aside. We'll do our wet ingredients now. So let's start with our sugar. We're going to be doing a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar here. Packed 8 tablespoons of butter, melted. So 1 stick, melted and cooled. You don't want this hot. 2 eggs. I've had these out there at room temp. Don't get shells in like me. Derek, why didn't you get me shellless eggs? Do a heaping 1/4 cup of granulated sugar here. Do a tablespoon of vanilla extract. 1/2 teaspoon pumpkin pie spice. Guess you could put this in the dry ingredients as well, but here's fine. 1/4 cup of full fat Greek yogurt. I like Fage. Give this a whisk around. We want it really incorporated. You're gonna have to put some elbow grease in this. You kind of want it smooth. Keep whisking. You really want this smooth. It's gonna take maybe 45 to 60 seconds. Constant whisking. Really work those forearms. We have our wet ingredients, nice and smooth. Everything's incorporated. I'm gonna add my dry ingredients now. So whisk this. You're not really gonna over whisk it, but if you do a little bit, it's gonna be fine. I think my pears have roasted enough. Remember to drop your oven down to 350 degrees. So if you look at this caramelization around the edge, that's exactly what you want. These are roasted enough. And I know I've started to concentrate that pear flavor, cooked off a bunch of that alcohol, but really concentrated it and around the pears. All right, while they're cooling, I got a 9-inch baking pan. Non-stick, but I'm still gonna spray it. If you have the flour and oil spray, I think that's preferred here. I just have the spray. But really spray it down well. I'm gonna add half the batter in. I'm gonna smooth it out. Our roasted pears are gonna go in. Then we're gonna add the rest of the batter. That's about half. Doesn't have to be perfect, no Michelin stars. Spread it out to about an even layer. I understand that spraying it will make it a little bit more difficult. That's fine. I'd rather have it not stick. So you have your pears, they're now cool. What you want to do is take your crushed up panko and we're just gonna sprinkle it over top and toss it around. It's gonna take 3 to 4 tablespoons. Now what this will do is it'll absorb a lot of that extra liquid, and because it's already been cooked and you've crushed them up, it'll kind of dissolve into the rest of the cake. You won't even know it's there. You know how you use tortilla chips to thicken up a chili? Like crushed tortilla chips? This is similar. I've used panko in a pinch to thicken up soups. Maybe 1.5 more here. We have these pears, nice and cool, tossed with the panko. We're just gonna sprinkle them over this. And then once we have it relatively even here, I'm just gonna pat it down and kind of get these in an even layer and press it into the cake batter. Second layer of batter is gonna go over top here. Now let's spread this out. This isn't gonna be super easy, but just do the best you can. Now remember the good looking pears? Here we go. I'm just gonna arrange them. I'm gonna spiral here. Now I'm just gonna start kind of filling in the gaps here. It's okay if they overlap. All right, just gonna give them a nice little pat, put them all flat. Maybe I can do something in here. Use up a little bit extra. Perfect. Now we're gonna stick this into the oven, and this is gonna take between 45 and 60 minutes. If you have a dark colored baking pan, it's gonna probably finish on the earlier side, and if you have a light colored one, it's probably gonna take a little bit longer. Let's get it in the oven. Remember, hopefully you drop that oven down to 350 degrees from the 450 we used to roast those pears. Welcome back. All right, we have a cooked cake. It's been about 45-50 minutes. Let's take a look at it. Look at that. Rotated it halfway through. You can see it's a little bit uneven, but cooked nicely. It looks fantastic. It smells amazing. I can't wait to cut into it. Now, unfortunately, you have to get it out of the pan, and we gotta let it cool for a couple of hours. Don't cut into it early. I'm just gonna run a knife around the edge here. Oh, yeah, look at how beautiful. Perfect browning. I love it. Got it out in one piece. All right, we are back. We have a fully cooled cake. All right, let's cut into it. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Cut right through the pear and the skin. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's okay if you use Bartlett pears and not peel them. If you use Bosc pears, maybe you want to. Let's just see how this looks. Oh, yes. Perfect browning. Let's give this a taste. This is my favorite part. This is delicious. It's moist, but it's not like clingy. You're just hit with an abundant amount of pear flavor. I get a little bit of the background notes from that pumpkin pie spice and the spices in the pear liqueur. Look at this. Cake isn't overly moist here. It just looks like a really perfect crumb. That's exactly what we wanted. Sometimes you get a layer between the cake and the pear or peaches or other fruit. It just is gloopy. We don't have that here, and the panko really helped with that, as well as our flour to egg to sugar ratio. Tossing the top in the sugar helped draw that extra liquid that didn't go into this. The pears here in this part of the cake, we roasted, we concentrated that flavor, and that's why it's so pear forward, and I love this. All right, thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitch, YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thanks so much. I hope to see you next time. Take care.